What does time mean when you can afford to buy pretty much all of it? For most of us, a watch tells us we're late for work. For Cristiano Ronaldo, it tells us he could buy the building we work in. Today, we're diving into the diamond-drenched, mind-bogglingly expensive world of CR7's watch collection. Richard Mille RM 1103 McLaren. Let's kick things off with something that looks less like a watch and more like a piece of a Formula One car that somehow got strapped to a wrist. This is the Richard Mille RM 1103 McLaren. Now, Richard Mille is a brand that doesn't just sell watches, it sells statements. The statement here is, my other car is also a multi-million-dollar hypercar, and I wanted a matching accessory. Created in collaboration with McLaren Automotive, this thing is a marvel of modern engineering. The case is made from something called carbon TPT and orange quartz TPT. That's not just fancy marketing speak. It's the same kind of ridiculously strong, impossibly lightweight material they use to build supercars. It means you could probably drop it from a helicopter, not that you would, and it would be fine. Inside, it's got a flyback chronograph, which is a complicated way of saying it has a stopwatch function that can be reset and restarted with a single push, a feature originally designed for pilots who needed to time navigational legs without fumbling around. Ronaldo was spotted with this masterpiece back in 2019, with a price tag that hovers around $350,000 to $500,000 on the secondary market, because of course, you can't just buy these. It's one of his more, understated pieces. And when a $500,000 watch is considered understated, you know you're in for a wild ride. It's the perfect watch for a guy whose entire career has been defined by speed, precision, and peak physical performance. It's less about telling time and more about celebrating the engineering that conquers it. Hublot Masterpiece MP09 Tourbillon by Axis. If the Richard Mille is a supercar for the wrist, the Hublot MP09 is a spaceship. Seriously, this thing looks like it was designed by H.R. Giger for a sci-fi blockbuster. It's aggressive, it's complicated, and it unapologetically screams, "Look at me." Hublot is known for its bold designs, but they really went off the deep end with this one, in the best way possible. The star of the show is the bi-axis tourbillon, which is that mesmerizing spinning cage you see at the bottom. A normal tourbillon rotates on one axis to counteract the effects of gravity on the watch's accuracy. A bi-axis tourbillon rotates on two axes, which is basically horological overkill. It's like putting a spoiler on a spoiler. Does it make the watch significantly more accurate in the real world? Probably not. Does it look incredibly cool and cost a fortune to engineer? Absolutely. The case is a complex multi-part construction with a massive curved sapphire crystal that gives you an uninterrupted view of the mechanical ballet inside. It's a huge watch, designed for someone with the confidence and the wrist to pull it off. Priced at around $200,000, it's another one of Ronaldo's daily beaters, I guess. It's a choice that reflects his on-pitch persona, technically brilliant, relentlessly modern, and always pushing the boundaries of what's possible. It's a piece that says he's not just a fan of luxury, he's a fan of innovation. Rolex GMT-Master II Ice. All right, we've had the high-tech stuff. Now it's time for the pure, unadulterated, I own the world flex. This is the Rolex GMT-Master II Ice, and it is quite possibly the most insane Rolex ever to leave the factory. Calling this a watch is like calling the Palace of Versailles a house. It's technically true, but it misses the point by a few $1 billion. This timepiece is crafted entirely from 18-karat white gold, and then nearly every single square millimeter of its surface is paved with diamonds. We're talking about 30 carats of factory set, flawlessly cut stones covering the dial, the case, the bracelet, everything. The hands are luminous. But who needs lume when your wrist is literally producing its own light pollution? This isn't a tool watch for pilots to track time zones anymore. It's a portable supernova. It's so over the top that it becomes a piece of performance art. When Ronaldo wears this, he's not checking the time in another country. He's reminding every other person in the room that they are in his country now. The price? A cool $485,000, but good luck finding one. This is the watch you buy when you've already bought everything else. It's a declaration. It's so loud and brilliant that it silences any and all discussion about taste. It's beyond taste. It's just power, crystallized and strapped to a wrist. Breguet Double Tourbillon. After the blinding light of the Rolex Ice, let's take a moment to appreciate something from the other end of the luxury spectrum. If the Rolex is new money shouting from the rooftops, this Breguet Double Tourbillon is old money whispering in a library. This is a watch for people who don't need to prove anything to anyone. Breguet is one of the oldest and most respected names in watchmaking, the kind of brand that connoisseurs get weak in the knees for. And this piece is one of their grand complications. As the name suggests, it has not one, but two tourbillons. They're mounted on a plate that itself rotates once every 12 hours, acting as the hour hand. The whole dial is a moving, mechanical sculpture. It's pure, unadulterated horological genius. The dial is hand-engraved on a rose engine, a traditional craft that very few artisans still master. The entire movement is a work of art, designed to be admired. Ronaldo owning this watch is fascinating. It shows a depth to his collection that goes beyond just bling. It proves he appreciates the history, the craftsmanship, and the quiet complexity of watchmaking at its highest level. With a value of around $600,000, it's an investment in artistry. It's the kind of piece a king would wear, which, let's be honest, is probably how Ronaldo sees himself. Jacob & Company Bugatti Chiron Tourbillon. Let's get back to the madness, shall we? Ronaldo famously owns a collection of Bugattis, so it only makes sense that he'd own the watch to match. This is the Jacob & Company Bugatti Chiron Tourbillon, and it is one of the most mechanically ridiculous watches ever conceived. Jacob & Company looked at the Bugatti Chiron's legendary 16-cylinder engine and said, yeah, let's put that in a watch. And they did. When you push a button on the side, a tiny, fully functional replica of the W16 engine inside the watch whirs to life. The crankshaft turns, and 16 microscopic pistons pump up and down. It serves absolutely no time-telling function whatsoever. It's just there because it can be. It's the ultimate tribute to mechanical excess. The movement itself, separate from the engine block automaton, is a flying tourbillon, tilted at a 30-degree angle to make it more visible. The whole thing is suspended within the case by 4 shock absorbers that look like they were pulled straight off the car's suspension. Ronaldo worked with Jacob & Company to customize his version to match his own Chiron, decking it out in diamonds and his CR7 logo. It's a hyper watch for a hypercar owner. Valued at over $1 million, it's a toy for a man who has never had to choose which toy he wants. He just gets them all. Jacob & Company Caviar Tourbillon. Speaking of Jacob & Company, let's talk about a watch that seems to be made of pure fire. This is the Caviar Tourbillon, and its special ingredient is rubies, hundreds of them. The Caviar name refers to the intricate, invisible setting of the gemstones, where they are placed so closely together that no metal is visible, creating a seamless, sparkling surface that looks like a cluster of glistening eggs. But instead of fish eggs, we have a sea of blood-red rubies. The watch is literally drenched in them, with 424 invisibly set, baguette-cut rubies covering the entire case and dial. Finding this many stones of matching color and clarity is an insane undertaking in itself, let alone cutting and setting them this perfectly. It's a masterpiece of both gem setting and watchmaking, with a flying tourbillon at the center, seemingly floating amidst the crimson tide. This is a watch that's all about passion, power, and dominance. Themes that run pretty deep in Ronaldo's career. Red is the color of Manchester United, the color of Portugal. It's a color of victory. Valued at over $1 million, this is more of a treasure than it is a watch. It's something a Bond villain would wear while plotting world domination, and I mean that as the highest possible compliment. It's bold, it's regal, and it is completely and utterly unapologetic. Franck Muller, Invisible Set, Imperial Tourbillon. If you thought the ruby caviar was wild, allow me to introduce you to Franck Muller's take on gemstone insanity. This is often cited as one of Ronaldo's most expensive pieces, the Invisible Set Imperial Tourbillon, sometimes referred to as the Diamond Tourbillon, and it is a waterfall of diamonds and rubies. Franck Muller is known as the master of complications, and he loves a bold, curvaceous, centre-curvex case shape. Now imagine taking that unique silhouette and making it entirely out of precious stones. Like the Jacob & Company piece, this uses an invisible setting, or certi mystérieux, a technique so difficult that a single piece can take a master gem setter over a year to complete. The stones are custom cut with grooves on their underside and slotted into a hidden metal framework, creating a flawless, uninterrupted carpet of gems. It's an optical illusion that makes it look like the watch was carved from a single giant diamond. Of course, inside all that sparkle is a highly complicated tourbillon movement, because why wouldn't there be? This piece is pure opulence, a demonstration of technical skill in both watchmaking and high jewelry. It's valued at a staggering $1.5 million. It's the kind of watch that doesn't just enter a room, it conquers it. Girard-Perregaux Planetarium, triaxial. Let's take another breather from the Diamond Inferno and look at something that is, for lack of a better term, cosmic. This is the Girard-Perregaux Planetarium triaxial, and it is a universe on the wrist. This is perhaps one of the most intellectually complex watches in Ronaldo's entire collection. First, you have the triaxial tourbillon. We've seen single axis and bi-axis. This one spins on 3 different axes at 3 different speeds. It's a whirlwind of micro-mechanical engineering, a hypnotic spectacle that is almost impossible to look away from. It's a solution to a problem that doesn't really exist, but its creation is an incredible feat of human ingenuity. But that's not all. Opposite the tourbillon is a tiny hand-painted globe of the Earth that rotates once every 24 hours, perfectly mimicking our planet's own rotation. And next to that is a moon phase indicator so precise it only needs to be adjusted once every 122 years. It's a watch that connects the wearer to the cosmos. It's a philosophical statement as much as it is a timepiece. For a man who is often called a god of his sport, owning a watch that contains a miniature functioning model of the solar system feels almost too perfect. With a price tag around $1.7 million, it's a reminder that true wealth allows you to own not just things, but ideas. Jacob & Company Grand Baguette Diamond. If the Rolex Ice was a blinding light, the Jacob & Company Grand Baguette Diamond is a collapsed star. This watch is less a timepiece and more a geometric sculpture made of pure light. Forget telling time. This thing bends time around its sheer gravitational pull of wealth. The baguette in the name refers to the cut of the diamonds, long, rectangular, and unforgiving. Any tiny flaw in a baguette-cut diamond is immediately visible, so sourcing hundreds of perfectly clear, perfectly matched stones is a Herculean task. The watch is set with 761 of them, totaling an absurd number of carats. But the real party trick here is the 5 separate time zone dials. It has a central dial for your home time, and then 4 satellite dials for New York, LA, Tokyo, and Paris. It's the ultimate watch for a global icon, a man who operates in multiple time zones simultaneously. It's a logistical nightmare for a watchmaker, but a beautiful expression of a globalized life. This piece costs a cool $1 million, and it's the definition of international flexing. It says, "I don't just travel the world, I own a piece of its time." Jacob & Company Billionaire Watch. Here we are, the top of the mountain, the end of the game. The name of this watch is not an exaggeration, it is a description. This is the Jacob & Company Billionaire, and it is one of the most expensive watches ever made. Floyd Mayweather has one. Ronaldo has one. It's the official membership card to a club so exclusive, most billionaires can't even get in. What makes it worth its estimated $18 million price tag? Diamonds. Specifically, 260 carats of enormous emerald-cut diamonds. Some of the individual stones on the bracelet are over 3 carats each. Let me repeat that. Single diamonds on the bracelet are bigger and more valuable than most celebrity engagement rings. The entire watch is a lattice of massive, flawless diamonds connected by a skeletonized tourbillon movement that seems to float in the middle of all the ice. This watch transcends luxury. It's a monument. It's a piece of abstract art that you can wear. It's so valuable and so audacious that wearing it is a power move of the highest order. It's not about telling time. It's about declaring that you have fundamentally beaten the game of capitalism. For Cristiano Ronaldo, a man who came from humble beginnings and built an empire, this watch isn't just an accessory, it's the crown. What do you guys think? Is this collection incredible, or is it just completely insane? Let me know in the comments which one you'd pick if you had an unlimited budget. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of insane luxury, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next video. Until next time, thanks for watching.